La Mesilla, which is the border crossing we're going to, and they've been having some like security issues. There's been some either, we're not 100% sure if it's like kidnappings or murders, I don't know.
La frontera de la Mesilla ahorita es una frontera que tiene muchos problemas y no es seguro salir por la Mesilla.
Moxie, Greg, and I are riding around the world to raise $100,000 for the nonprofit Girl Up. We're donating 10% of RUFFLY sales to the fundraiser and posting a new episode every week. It's a big dog on two wheels adventure for girls' empowerment. So follow along and please lend your support. So it is 8:31 in the morning, and Moxie has already gotten 47 minutes from being down here at the lake and running around, and people are playing fetch with her, and she's like dying to go into the lake, but we just bathed her last night, so I don't want her to go into the lake. And we're just setting up, and hopefully people will start showing up soon.
Be sure to follow our route live through GSAT track, which is connected to this little gem, the GSAT Micro. So that's how you can see where we are at any given time. So you know I have like 10 liters of water on my bike.
Well, this is free water here.
There we go. Moxie quality water. So this little beauty here is a throttle lock that we have been desperately missing out on for years. And so the whole idea is that you can just keep it the level of gas that you want.
So GoRUFFLY around the world, the reason why we're doing it is because we want to raise money for a nonprofit that helps girls. It's called Girl Up, and they were founded by the United Nations Foundation, and their goal is to provide leadership and development training to girls all around the world. They work in 120 countries. They've helped over 90,000 girls. And so they provide this training to the girls to give them the confidence they need. They give them skills about how to advocate to their local government or to their communities for the issues that matter most to them. And it's such an important thing to be able to start the girls when they're young to be able to be leaders in their community and understand what it means to take a stand and do something for themselves and their communities. So they are here in Guatemala as well. They have Girl Up clubs is what they call them. While we are on this round the world trip, we are going to be able to visit Girl Up clubs along the way. So we'll be visiting them in Mexico, in the US, in Canada, and then in Africa, and in Europe, and all of the places that we're going. So that's going to be a really cool way to sort of show the girls something that they might not have seen before, and also to see what they've been doing and the support that Girl Up has been able to provide them. So the BMW group came down, a bunch of the women came down, the Women Sisters. So this is really cool. One of the ones I actually had met before when we did the BMW course together. So this is really cool that they all sort of came down to support, and they're going to ride out with us in the next 10 minutes, I think.
Okay. So, you know, in Latin America, there are lots of amazing female riders, so don't get me wrong, but it hasn't sort of taken off in the same way that in other places. And so, you know, to just kind of see more of it and some women coming out, I don't know, it just makes my heart, you know.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to donate if you can at GoRuffly.com/world-adventure. Help us reach that $100,000 goal, and keep in touch. You'll see on our landing page our route where we are. If we're coming near you and you want to see us, please reach out. We'd love to see you. And thank you again.
Welcome.
Bravo! And up.
Okay, so we are about 2.5 hours into Go Roughly around the world, and a couple of things are happening. The launch was fantastic and really just lovely, and actually a bit emotional, so still sort of a little choked. So finally, after about 2.5 hours in, we pulled over. We have not made it as far as we would have liked because our lovely upholsterer and his wife wanted to follow us out on his motorbike. He's the one that we visited in episode, I don't know, 26, I think, of Go Roughly on 2 wheels and 4 paws. So we were going at a pace that a 125cc that was 2 up could handle. Issue number 1 is that we've pulled over in this spot, which is basically where the community comes out and washes their clothes, and because they all use soap and detergent in the basin, it smells not nice. But we were like, kind of after 2.5 hours, we were like desperate for food and everything. Moxie is eating grass. That's number 2, because the guys from the coffee shop, Te Quiero, that came out for the launch were not so secretly feeding her throughout the launch. And so now she's got an upset stomach. So now we're kind of hanging out for her to eat that grass, make her rounds, and make it come up. And I keep looking over because she is quite literally making rounds, and I'm hoping that means next it will come up.
So Moxie is still eating some grass, and hopefully her stomach will settle in a little bit. This always seems to happen right at the beginning of a trip, that she has a little bit of an upset stomach, but it normally calms itself down.
And then the third thing is that we forgot to turn off the live chat at GoRuffly.com. And so we started getting chats, which is absolutely lovely. It's just terrible timing, and we're on the road, and we've got like 1 bar between LTE, and then it drops down to E, so it's not happening. So we gotta solve that. We gotta wait for the dog to make it happen, and then we're back on the road. We're gonna make it another about 1.5 hours. It's only another 50 kilometers or so, but it's all mountain roads along the Pan American. We get to the city of Huehue, and that's where we're spending the night. I have full
Devil?
hands.
No.
This is 2 matrimoniales.
And how much did we pay for this?
$275 Q, which in dollars is something very different.
Just a quick timeout to tell you how you can support the Go Roughly Around the World adventure for Girl Up. You can donate directly to Girl Up at GoRuffly.com/world-adventure. You can make a purchase at GoRuffly.com where 10% goes towards the fundraiser. Tell all your friends and family about it. And of course, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much. Now back to the adventure.
So the hotel where we're staying at is having a quinceañera. And as a result, the reception guy is nowhere to be found ever, which means that we couldn't give back the key when we were walking out to go to this cafe. And so we have had to get creative, and we are doing a leash attachment. And this right here illustrates quite perfectly why all of the RUFFLY leash attachment gear connects at both ends. Because this is what it means to free dangle. So I am not a particularly self-involved person. I would say just the right amount. And so I did notice during GoRUFFLY Around the World launch and Jess giving her talk, everybody was really wondering was, why am I wearing a sleeve on just one arm? I know, it's a mystery, and it's not a fashion thing. This is not sort of a new version of a Michael Jackson thing that I'm doing. In fact, it is because of my recent tat. And I'm trying to follow the guidelines of 20 to 30 days, no UV. So we are outdoors all day, so I got myself a sleeve in Pana, and that's what I'm rocking.
So we just left our day one hotel here in Huehue. We have about 2 hours to get to the border. Some of the BMW guys at our launch car told us yesterday from La Masia, which is the border crossing we're going to, that they've been having some like security issues. There's been some either, we're not 100% sure if it's like kidnappings or murders, I don't know.
Eso te queríamos decir, que la frontera de la Mesía ahorita es una frontera que tiene muchos problemas y no es seguro salir por la Mesía. Yo lo que te aconsejaría sería que agarren aquí para Shela, para que Saltenango, y en Saltenango bajan a la costa y de Retabuleu agarran y salen por la frontera de Tapachula.
But it's a border we've done many times, and we really like that one because they're not too particular about moxie on the Mexican side. So we're gonna try it and be as safe as we can. And then we have about another 4 hours on the other side to get to San Cristobal de las Casas, which is a place we've also been to, but really, really like. It's a bit higher up in the mountainous region, and it's just really beautiful. So we're gonna go there, stay there for the night, and then continue on going north in the morning.
Okay, muchas gracias. I overstayed my visa by 11 days, so I have to pay 165Q. Really easy, you just come over to the bank here, pay it, go back, they fill out some paperwork, and that's that. The issue is that we've heard, at least, that by a cop trying to get a bribe, that the sort of international reciprocity of driver's license says, okay, we recognize the US driver's license here is void when your visa is not valid. And so that's always kind of the concern. It's not much money to overstay, and so it's a little more convenient just to overstay and then pay when you leave, except that if they pull you over and find that it's not valid, and then they say your driver's license is not valid.
Moxie and I are here at the border. We're not really supposed to be filming, but we're at the border and we're waiting for Greg to come back from the Guatemalan side. So we're on the Mexican side, but it turned out that the lady wouldn't let us get our permisos, our temporary import permits, unless we had a valid calcomania. It's like their sticker thing that shows that you basically paid your taxes for the vehicle for the year. Ours was April 2021, and for some reason we sort of thought that it was going to be valid until like the end of March. But it's not. It needs to be a valid 2022 calcomania. So we had to do it online here. We had to go across the border and pay at their national bank at the Guatemalan side. And I'm waiting for him to come back. He needs to come back, print them out, give them to the lady, and then we can go.
Finally, a tuk-tuk driver got me to a web cafe, or internet cafe, and of course the whole time was trying to figure out if I could get him an H-2B visa, one of the work permit visas. Got that printed, got to the bank, paid, got back to the web cafe to print the things out, and then came back. You know, in the moment you're hot, you're like annoyed that like no one seems obliged to just get this sorted out for you, and yet nobody's against you, no one's doing anything wrong. It's just that like this is the process, and frankly it all began because I didn't do this ahead of time. And then I guess have a little bit of the, you know, presence of mind or experience really of just having done this before to know, like, you know, within an hour or maybe 2 hours you're gonna be sitting on your bike riding out of here, and it's like bygones, it's all behind you. So to get like worked up and pissy and moaning and bitching and bad attitude, that is very short-sighted.
It's a hot day. I think we're gonna stay in San Cristobal de las Casas. I found an Airbnb that I thought that we had stayed at before, but I think it's just one that I favorited, so I thought it was nice. And I think I'm gonna book that one, and then we'll have tacos tonight. We'll be most-tarians, as Greg likes to say it. Not always vegetarian, but most of the time. And have some al pastor tacos in San Cristobal. It's about 3.5 hours from you. And then we should be on our way tomorrow morning after we go to the vet for Moxie.
If I got every word perfectly weighted on a thin piece of paper, would it make any difference? Would it change for the better? If I wrote you a poem, if I posted a letter?
So, moto cockpit note here, always prepare yourself and your gear and whatever's going on before you let the big dog down, and have the leash ready as well. Last thing you want is to sort of get her down as quick as possible, and she's pulling and tugging and wants to go and do things, and you haven't gotten yourself sorted out. So it's sort of like with the oxygen mask, take care of yourself before you do others.
So we've come to the vet here in San Cristobal to get her final, like, updated stuff for her Mexican passport so we can take her into the States. So we found this cool place here that are going to sort her and get all of her vaccination stickers done. 37 kilos is what?
Going on at 80 pounds. Solid 80 pounds.
Wow, Moxie, you became a beast.
What a porker, Moxie. What a porker.
Wow, yeah, fat girl. Well, she'll lose some weight just like we've been.
Yeah.
I think we'll need to increase our 140 minute per day goal. We need to increase that to at least 200 so that she can get back down to her normal size.
Absolutely. Now, yesterday was a bumper day. That was day 2 of travel. What's got your goat, Moxie? Is that real or is it maybe fake? Moxie, are you a bit confused?
No.
Moxie, you did so good at the vet that we decided to treat ourselves with some ice cream popsicles.
I have raspberry and Greg has margarita. No, what did you get?
Peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. I feel like that now. got bad, like really pretty bad. Like I would grade this like an 8 out of 10. So I'm thinking, we just saw some guys come down and they told us that this place up here is like the entrance to get to like this eco park thing. But the cabins themselves are actually down back the way we came. So Greg tried to call, but obviously we have no service. On the map it's telling us we have 300 meters to get to the entrance of this eco park, which is what we were trying to do. We stopped here because I was going to let Moxie down so that she can run and I can ride this. But now that the guy said, he said something like it's like 10 minutes until you actually get to where you need to go. So we're making a decision.
So you see the paved road ended here and then this turned to shit. But of course it turns to shit to get to the place that we're going to. So I already did a good up at the top where I was able to turn myself around on a really steep hill.
I made it. I did it all myself.
And so now I'm going to give it a shot to ride this down to where we need to park them for the night.
Look right through. Oh, look, we've got street lights. So this is a keeper. I mean, you probably have to light it, put some whale oil, whale blubber in there. But then we've got light probably for 2, maybe 3 hours while it lasts.
And we were surrounded by turkeys.
We're surrounded by turkeys, so turkey dinner.
The geese don't like Moxie. It's a very good alarm animal. So in the event that there were coyotes or other things, or some other type of human predator that would be on your property, supposedly geese really do a good job of putting that alarm out.
Moxie, you are a devil. You are a pointy-eared, pointy-snouted devil. And you cannot be trusted. Not for a moment. He said there's a tienda here, like 100 meters up. So it should be just up here, otherwise we're really hoofing it a ways. We're gonna get some food for dinner. And then next order of business is to set up the tent. And then next order of business is to bañarse en el río.
Yeah, before the mosquitoes.
Before we get bit to shit.
Oh.
I have come to be known in certain parts as a master chandelier maker. Chandelier at the campsite. Yeah, that's not the moon. There's 2 of them. So this guy has these wires strung across here to bring power to the cabana, which does not have power. But the cables are here, and perfect placement of our camping cooking setup here means that we have a wire for chandelier making.
Tonight I'm making a breakfast hash for dinner. I used the potatoes, onions, carrots, green peppers, garlic, and tomatoes. And I'm just sort of making a hash with it. And it's all local ingredients that are from this little town, this little village. I'll put some nutritional yeast on top, and it'll give it a bit of like a cheesy flavor as well.
Horrifying ways.
Too hot for me. So it was a night of 1,000 sounds. There was pigs, there was frogs, the geese, street dogs, street cats, turkeys. We even think there was some owls. We had a street dog that came and invaded our camp, and Moxie immediately became alert and wanted to attack it through the tent, so we had to restrain her. We're gonna walk just up about 100 meters to the village store, get some eggs, maybe a little more veg, and make an omelet breakfast.
You came along, couldn't look away. Somehow you turned my life completely upside down. And since you've been gone, there's no peace of mind. A foolish heart and healing thought I would be fine. No matter where I lay my head, another time, another bed. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you.
So there's a roadblock that is blocking the main freeways to get to Atitlan and we actually just ran into a guy who had some cows in front of me, and he said to Greg that we're trying to get around the roadblock. Following Atitlan to see if we can find an alternate route.
Problemas de límites entre dos poblaciones, o sea, no les define el gobierno hasta dónde llega su límite, entonces pues unos dicen que su límite es antes, otros que su límite es después y tienen conflictos. Entonces hicieron un bloqueo para manifestarse y hacer que el gobierno del estado baje y les delimite pues hasta dónde le corresponde a cada quien. En el último puente que pasamos arriba de los vehículos. Si tú volteas hacia la izquierda, la fila continuaba, o sea, hasta donde daba tu vista. De donde pasamos hacia la derecha son como entre 30 y 40 kilómetros que hay de vehículos. Pero sí es un caos, o sea, está bloqueada la carretera libre y la carretera federal. Entonces ahorita lo que hicimos fue por pueblitos, o sea, por todos los pueblitos, ir pasando.
No matter who I try to love, it's always you I'm thinking of. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. Your silhouette dancing on the wall.
If you go to our website at GoRUFFLY.com/world-adventure, it's going to show you our GSAT track. GSC Engineering has helped us by providing us with a GPS device, and that's what we're using to track our locations. If you come to this map, you're going to see all of the points about where we've come from in Guatemala all the way up to where we are right now.
No matter where I lay my head, another time, another bed. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. No matter who I try to love, it's always you I'm thinking of. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you.
guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I am talking to you from Mexico City. I'm here in a high-rise building, and this is where we've been working from for the past few days. But I wanted to go back to the episode and just say a big thank you to everybody who helped with our GoRUFFLY Around the World launch event. It really was just such a success, and it really meant a lot to us. For all of you who came in person and attended virtually as well, it was just an awesome experience. And Greg and I, as we were leaving, were really sort of choked up about the whole thing because we fell in love with Pana, and it's a difficult place to leave. But with this adventure on the horizon, it did sort of soften the leaving. But I wanted to say thank you to all of the artisans who came out and all of the girls who were there. That was really cool to see them. They were asking all of these questions about, well, how does Moxie ride on the motorcycle? How does she get up? What happens if she needs to poop? It was great. They were just really inquisitive, and it's something that they haven't seen before, and I'm really glad that I was able to share the information with them. I also wanted to say thank you to Aguilas and Vuelo Panajachel. They're the ones who allowed us to have the space there at the landing zone where they normally do their paragliding, and they provided us with that lovely tent as well. So thank you so much for that. And to Take Quiero, they're our favorite coffee shop in Pana, and they came out and they provided smoothies and coffee to people who were there. So thank you to them as well. BMW Guatemala, I was on a podcast a few days before the launch event, and so that was really great to share the information about the fundraiser. And the Wind Sisters from Guatemala City, they came out. It was great to have them come out as well, and for everybody else there, all of the girls, to see other women riders doing their thing. So thank you to them. And all of you just made it really special for us, and I just, again, wanted to say how grateful I am. So you saw that our first hurdle was about the border. Alex, one of the guys from the BMW, was telling us about that there were some issues happening at La Mesilla, the border that we wanted to cross at. And I think we mentioned in the video that it's a border that we've crossed many times, like maybe 5 or 6 times we've crossed into Mexico at La Mesilla with Moxie. And the reason why we really like it is because they don't really make a big fuss about Moxie there. Some of the other borders, you have to go and show all of your paperwork. I had all of her documents. She needed her vet certificate to say that she was in good health and that she had her up-to-date rabies shot, her vaccination passport that has all of her vaccine history in it, and then there was like a special stamp that you need from the government in Guatemala to sort of say that everything has been certified. So I had everything, but I didn't really want to have to show it because it normally takes a while for them to go through all the documents, the photocopies, and they put it in their system, they give you a printout, but that's why we didn't want to have to do it if we could avoid it, so that's why we wanted to go to La Mesilla. And then when Alex told us about the issues that were happening there, I looked it up on my phone to see what news was out there, and I did see, and I had heard about it, that there was something going on. And what it turned out to be was like a warring narcos gangs, like a drug gang. And they were fighting amongst themselves and just happened to be near the border. But it wasn't like they were targeting civilians. It wasn't that type of fighting. It was more like if you get in the way and if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, potentially something could happen to you. So I decided that we would take the chance and cross at that border. But I sort of always had in the back of my mind, like, if it felt sketchy as we were leading up to the border or at the border, we'll just turn around and go to one of the other ones. And thankfully, as we got there, it was really quiet. And maybe because everybody else thought that they should not go there. But there weren't any lines. There were a few people that were crossing either way, but it wasn't like overly busy. And so we were able to get through quite quickly on the Guatemalan side. Greg had to pay his fine. We went through.
And when we spoke to the officials that were at the border and asked them specifically about the situation with the security, and they said that, yes, they told us about the gangs and the issues that they were having, but they said that there was nothing really happening at the border. They didn't hear anything. They didn't say that, they didn't make it sound like that there was a big problem happening. So it made me feel a little bit better. I know we took a chance, but there's times where you're just going to have to take a chance. I know somebody said not to go, and so maybe we shouldn't have, but in this case, we made it through, and I was happy about that. Because we didn't have that one document for the vehicle import on the Mexican side, and Greg had to do this whole runaround about getting photocopies, finding a place to print, and he said something like that they weren't really out to screw us. Like, they had these specific things that needed to get done, and we were the ones who didn't have that document. So for us, it was our fault. And yeah, nobody went out of their way to like help us photocopy things and print things out. And Greg had to do running around to get that done. But it wasn't like malicious. They weren't trying to be corrupt, or they weren't trying to make it especially difficult. It was just the situation. And then within a few hours, we were able to go. So it's just a reminder about sort of keeping your cool at the border and know that, you're going to get through eventually. It might take you some time, but it's just time. And you just have to go with the flow and do the best that you can. It was silly of us not to have gotten that document before we crossed over, but it's a learning experience and just something for me to remember as well, because I'm the one who likes to do the logistics, to make sure that we have all of the documents before we cross. The last thing I wanted to say was, I hope you guys saw my off-roading success in this last episode. I was very proud of myself. There were like 2 or 3 different places where in the past, I probably would have just stopped and said, okay, Greg, you ride my bike, or said, I don't want to do this, let's turn around. But I sort of gave in, and it was funny. It's like the moment that I stopped digging my heels in about the off-road, the easier that it became. Like, I didn't feel like I was so anxious about it. It was more of, I can do this. Like, I have experience doing other off-road. This isn't horrible. It's not like I'm doing the most difficult parts out there. And if I go down, I go down. And one of the times I had Moxie with me, the other times I didn't. I just let her down and she ran beside me because they were short distances. And I was just really proud of myself that I got through it. In the past, like I said, I think I would have sort of bugged out and would have just sort of felt a little, I would have felt bad about myself. I would have been sort of ashamed that I had done that I said no. But it was sort of like self-preservation that I felt that I needed at that time. But here I think I'm being the version that I need to be for this trip, especially as we get into Africa and things start getting even more difficult in terms of the road conditions. So this has been good practice. But you probably did see at the very end, you saw those 2 cement tracks that they had leading up on the driveway towards the cabin that we were staying at. And as I was going, I obviously did that thing where I started looking down right in front of me instead of looking straight ahead. And yeah, I was looking at the seam that goes between the cement and the big drop of dirt, and I went right into it. And luckily, Henry, who was the owner of the cabins, he was there, and he just came up and he was able to lift my front wheel back onto the cement track, and then I was able to go. I didn't go down, but I did do that thing where I fell off the side. And then when we parked our bikes, Henry started telling us about these other motorcyclists that had come from the city, I guess, a group of them, and they were on pretty big cruisers, and they did it as well. And he said that each of them fell at least twice trying to get up. Just like they were falling over on one side and then the other side. And they made he said that they were filming each other and they were having a laugh about it. But the fact that they were also struggling going up and then also going back down, they also were falling all over. It just made it made me feel good that I made it. Yes, I had my little slide off of the cement, but in the end I made it up. And I'm glad it makes me feel good.
Don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube and at Facebook and Instagram at GoRUFFLY. And don't forget that we have episodes coming out every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central. So make sure when you subscribe, you hit the notifications button so that you get a notification when the new episode goes live. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you soon.